Good afternoon. We do have a couple people who have joined us already, so thank you for jumping on today's webinar. We're going to give it just a minute or two here and give everyone a chance to get signed on before we get started. So we will begin in just a moment. Thank you. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and kick us off just so we have plenty of time to answer any questions you guys may have. So thank you for joining us for today's webinar, How to Respond to Online Reviews with Scott Clanin of Clanin Marketing. Just a few quick things before we get started. You are welcome to ask questions. You can submit those via the chat box and we will cover them once Scott is done with his presentation, but you can drop those in that chat at any time. You'll also receive a follow-up email tomorrow. It will include a recording of today's session and the link that Scott shares where you can download a copy of the presentation for you to reference after today's webinar. We also have a wide variety of community partners on today's webinar with us, so I'll include links to all of their websites in that follow-up email as well, so that you can check out the resources they have available too. And speaking of websites, ours is almost done. The finish line is in sight. And so you cannot access our calendar of events on there just yet, but shortly you will be able to. So I'm going to include our Facebook events so you can see what we have upcoming, along with Scott's website where he has all of the webinars we've partnered with on together, along with one in-person session that we have coming up this spring. So I'm going to hand it over to Scott and we'll get started.
Excellent. Thank you, Jordan, and good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for our webinar, How to Respond to Online Reviews. I'll be sharing my screen, so one moment while I pull up today's presentation. All right, Jordan, just confirm, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. All right, well, again, welcome. Today's webinar is How to Respond to Online Reviews. We do want to thank the Illinois SBDC office out of Champaign County, EDC, for making today's webinar possible, along with all of our incredible local community partners. A couple other housekeeping items on my end. If you'd like a copy of today's presentation, you can go to claninmarketing.com/workshops. Just scroll about midway through the page and you're going to see a For Attendees section. Just fill out your name and email, and again, you will get a PDF copy of this presentation that I'm going to walk you through today. In addition, at the top of this page, I'm sorry, this URL here, you're going to see a list of some other upcoming free webinars that we have with the SBDC, and then Jordan and I will be meeting in the next couple of weeks to then plan out our schedule here for the next few months. May, June, I believe July, I can't remember how far we're scheduling out, but we are working on the next set of marketing webinars to bring you over Zoom. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. As Jordan mentioned, my name is Scott Clanin. I am the owner of Clanin Marketing. We are a full-service marketing creative agency based out of downtown Champaign, and we serve clients all across the Midwest. Everything from branding, graphic design, video production, website design, and more. But one of the things that we see when it comes in the world of marketing and developing a good marketing strategy is making sure that you're monitoring your online reputation and your online reviews to see what people are saying about you. This can certainly help improve internal logistics, training opportunities for your employees, but it also helps build brand awareness and brand advocates out in the community. And we live in this world of this digital age where everyone has a camera, everyone has quick access to quickly leave a review on their phone. And so I want to share with you some tips and tricks to best manage your online reputation and online reviews. How do we respond to reviews? What are best practices there? What are ways that we can help maybe increase online reviews? There may be some of you on the call where maybe you have a brick and mortar store or you have a service-based business, but you have your Google listing that comes up on the right-hand side that we'll talk about. Maybe you've gotten some negative reviews over the years, right? And because people are a little more prone to leave a negative review than they are to leave a positive review. But what are ways that we can maybe increase those positive reviews that then outweigh the negative? So I'm going to be sharing some great tips and tricks with you today. So thank you very much for joining. This is our agenda. We're going to go over the importance of course, online reviews. Just a one quick slide there. I want to then talk about popular platforms. Sure, a lot of us probably immediately think of Google, but there are some other ones. And some other ones, your business, depending on what industry you may be in, you may already have a presence on some of these other ones and you may not even know it. You may be an unclaimed listing. So I'm going to share with you some popular platforms that we have found when working with clients, tips and best practices, ways to increase online reviews, and then leaving you with some additional resources, and we should have some time for questions. As Jordan mentioned, if you have a question at any point during today's presentation, you can leave a comment in that little chat box in the Zoom toolbar, and Jordan will read me those questions at the end. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about the importance of online reviews. These are an effective word of mouth marketing strategy. And if you think about it, we've all done it, right? Whether that be through Amazon or we're considering purchasing a service or a product from another business, we want to see what other people are doing. I did the same thing. There's a newer restaurant that opened in Champaign, and we wanted to check it out. So I went with some friends over the weekend and we read reviews, and we saw that service from other people, service is a little spotty. So we kind of knew going into it, they were maybe still working out some of the service kinks, but we saw from the reviews, the food was incredible and the atmosphere was incredible. So we just did that on Friday, Saturday. But I think we all do that, right? Most of us are reading reviews when we shop online. Most of us, 96%, I have some sources there at the bottom, look for negative reviews, okay? So if you see, okay, this business has 4.0, 4.5 stars out of 5, and there's 120 reviews, that's pretty good, right? But we may be filtering by the negative just to see what people are saying. We look for those. We also look to see how long ago those were, right? So if I see a negative review that was posted 5 years ago, I may ignore that because that has been some time since that review has been posted and things may have changed logistically at the business. 49% of customers trust reviews as much as personal recommendations. I think this will continue to increase time after time. I think for a lot of us, when we look at those Amazon reviews, we like to see, and again, I think this is also contingent on what the review is, right? If someone just leaves a star rating with no comments, we're probably not going to trust that as much. But if someone really took the time to share their experience, I'm probably going to trust that just as I would with a personal recommendation. But for me personally, if I see a review that is extremely long and very detailed, I might think, you know what, this might have just been a one-off situation, and this may not be common among other customers that take advantage of this business's offerings. 60% of consumers feel that the number of reviews is critical when deciding to move forward. That's pretty straightforward. 84% of millennials don't trust conventional advertising. And I think that's because advertising over the years has been really slick and really overly polished, right? We're not really talking to the people we want to talk to. And so I think reviews humanizes the experience a bit more. And that's why a lot of us continue to return to reviews, because it doesn't matter if you have great photography, a great website, a great slick brand. It all comes down to what that experience is, what that service is, what that end product goal was, and what other people are saying about that. 3.3 stars out of 5 are the lowest rating customers are likely to consider. I thought this one was interesting. So 3.3 stars out of 5 are the lowest rating. Again, if I see a business, excuse me, I have something in my throat today. If I see a business that's 1 star out of 5, 2 star out of 5, I immediately think, okay, something's not quite going well at the business. But according to these studies, 3.3 out of 5 stars are the lowest ratings customers are likely to consider before maybe picking up the phone, before visiting the business, buying something online, etc. So really keep this in mind. Quick little slide on, again, the importance of online review. You're all on the webinar today, which shows me, yes, you understand what the importance of those reviews are, but really wanted to show some interesting statistics here. All right, so let's look at some popular platforms. Like I mentioned earlier, Google Business is the one that I think a lot of us think of when it comes to online reviews. Amazon is probably one that comes up as well. But let's go over, and I categorized some platforms here for you. Some of the general most common one is, of course, the Google Business Profile. Again, this is that listing that shows up on the right-hand side of Google search results. This is a free listing. A lot of times businesses will continue to get calls. We get calls every day from a company saying that we work with Google. We see that there might be some issues with the Google Business Profile account. They are not from Google. And if you're already verified, you can simply just hang up. That is a sales call. Jordan and I do have a webinar just about Google Business Profile that we may launch again later this year if you are interested. But this is, again, that free service from Google. You do have to do a verification request. And once you do have your business verified through your Google Business Profile, you have access to edit photos, edit your hours, update little stats or upcoming events, and then, of course, respond and manage your online reviews. So Google Business Profile is a common one. And then, of course, another big one is Facebook. So Facebook, within the About Us tab, if you do have your Facebook page for your business set up in the way that allows reviews to come in, I think you can deactivate your reviews. Facebook is another platform that people tend to go to leave reviews. Not necessarily for like business to business type of industries, but more the business to consumer. We see more of those reviews come in on Facebook. But again, these are your two general most common platforms. In the food and beverage industry, we have OpenTable. Of course, Yelp continues to be a semi-popular platform. I personally think this was more popular 10, 20 years ago. Yelp, you can go in and update your listing and add different things. But one of the things I personally dislike about Yelp is that they will charge you for almost every little thing now, whereas before they never did. So simply having your listing on Yelp, and then if you just want to update your profile photo to your logo, that's like $1 a day. So there's weird little things on Yelp's business page where they may charge you. Don't feel like you have to pay for every little a la carte thing that they offer, as long as you can at least claim your Yelp account to where you can respond to reviews. That is key. It doesn't matter if you have all these great photos on there, but if you have a lot of unanswered negative reviews, consumers are really going to be looking at those. So at a minimum, at least claim your Yelp listing so you can manage your reviews. Business employment, this is something that people don't think of when it comes to online reviews, but maybe you're a larger company. You have many, many different employees. You may have a presence on Glassdoor. Glassdoor is a platform similar to like LinkedIn, but it kind of takes a peek behind the curtain of the working culture at the business, what the interview process was like, just experience from past employees working there. But this is something where people are sharing their experience. So it basically is a review, right? It's a review of me working there. So if you are a large company, if you already have a presence on Glassdoor, certainly monitor that. Hospitality and tourism, TripAdvisor is still a very popular platform for more of the hospitality and tourism industry. Again, with all of these, you want to make sure that you do claim your account. I think twice this week we've run into different issues with clients saying, you know what, I think someone else set this up for me and I don't have access to that, or I don't have the passwords for that. If you don't have passwords or your account claimed on a variety of different platforms, make sure to take some time to clean that up, gain access into these. But if you haven't started at all, and TripAdvisor definitely fits within your industry, make sure that you are going in and claiming that and learning all the different fields and tools that are available to you to create a great platform or a business listing on that platform. Of course, Amazon for e-commerce, we talked about that. This is where, at least for me anyway, anytime I'm buying something on Amazon, I scroll to the bottom and I'm reading the reviews. And business services. Some of you may be familiar with Nextdoor. For those of you on the call who haven't heard of Nextdoor, think of it like Facebook, but just for your neighborhood. It's a really cool neighborhood subdivision focused social media platform. So when I moved into my new home in 2017, the neighborhood I was in was already set up on Nextdoor, and they invited me to join. I can communicate with my neighbors on there. It has a little stream, just like what Facebook does. I can make a post. But what's nice on Nextdoor, it's all neighborhood focused. So if there's some suspicious activity happening, people can post on Nextdoor. If I'm selling something and want to sell to my neighbors, or maybe I want to get a roofing estimate. My glass cracked in my back window. I want to get an estimate from that. Who would you recommend? Nextdoor is a great platform for those recommendations for more of those business-based services, appliance centers, roofers, siding, window, lawn care, etc. That's a great platform for them. And very similar to Yelp and the other business listings, you do have to go in and create a business profile on Nextdoor. We did find that one of our clients actually already had a business listing on there. I believe that was just auto-generated from Nextdoor. So we were able to go in and simply claim it, add in some photos, add in your profile image, which unlike Yelp does not charge you for adding a profile image, which is great. And then you can chime into the conversation online. By thanking people, they have a really cool badge award system. So in 2023, one of our clients won this kind of neighborhood recommendation award because a lot of people ended up recommending them. So you can chime into conversations online, make posts about deals or offers that you have going on, etc. Nextdoor is a really cool platform. So again, these are ones that we run into often. These are ones that, again, are, I would say, the most popular platforms. There are certainly others out there, but Google Business Profile is one that, for the most part, or a lot of the reviews are going to come in because if someone is searching for your business specifically, this is what shows up on the right-hand side of Google, or if they're searching within Maps, the reviews show up on the map search as well. So you really want to make sure you do have your business claimed and you are monitoring your online reputation, monitoring those reviews on each one of these platforms. And a lot of times too, you are able to set in different push notifications if you do download their app, or just make sure that your settings are correct to where if a review comes in, you get a push notification right away, or you get an email right away. So, because again, once that someone sends that review in, the clock is ticking. And we'll talk about the importance of responding in a timely manner. This is a screenshot I wanted to show you, again, just since this is the most popular one, the Google Business Profile. If you haven't had a chance to hop on our webinar about this, I wanted to quickly show you a couple things that have changed on Google Business Profile. What's nice is that you can now access your business profile by simply going through the front end of Google. So in this case, I typed in Clanin marketing and my listing comes up. So what you see in the orange box, I can only see because I'm an admin on the account. So I can edit the profile, I can read my reviews, add photos, etc. On the right-hand side where you have that yellow box, that's where everyone, the public can see that, anyone can see that. This is what shows up. So you can see the little ratings there. And then if you wanted to read your reviews, you can then click read reviews. And then that will take you to the little review box where you can go in and respond as the business, which I certainly recommend you doing. We'll talk about that here in a bit. We'll also talk about ways you'll want to go back into this editing tool. I have a really cool little tip that will help increase online reviews that we'll share later on. So keep this in mind. But again, if you are claimed on Google, but you haven't been in there for a little bit, you should be able to now access it on the front end of Google by just typing in your business name. And again, you'll see everything in that orange box as long as you're an admin on the account. Okay. You can also go to google.com/business, stand out on Google with a free business profile, and you're going to click Manage Now. And again, it will walk you through all the different prompts. It will also tell you if that business is maybe claimed by someone else. And so if maybe an old intern or former employee set this up for you, it will give you a hint to the person's email, but it won't give you the full email. And you can request to gain access to the account to become an administrator. Google will then facilitate that communication and email the individual, and that email, or I'm sorry, that individual can then respond and add you to the account. So you can go here to google.com/business, click manage now, and type in your business name just to see if you do have a listing maybe that's coming up. We talked about Facebook, again, just to kind of show you where that is. On Facebook, either in the tab section or underneath the About Us section, sometimes you can see it there. You should see a review tab. And then on here, again, people can leave reviews. So Leslie, I ordered an adorable top, love my shirt. They were thoughtful enough to include a free gift, send a handwritten thank you card. Again, those little touch points. This all goes back to your brand and customer experience. People remember that. And in this case, someone loved it so much they took the time to leave a review. And then most importantly, Apricot Lane acknowledged the review and then thank this person. We appreciate having you as a customer. So very simple, but this is a great little best practice. I mentioned earlier the ability to toggle and turn reviews off. So you can do that. I mean, I certainly wouldn't recommend that, depending, of course, on your business. And if you do have a good reputation, if you maybe you're wanting to really showcase a lot of your really good reviews, maybe start allowing reviews on your Facebook page and see how that goes. So again, that you can find that under reviews. You should have a little blue toggle button to allow reviews on your page. All right, let's go over some tips and best practices for responding to reviews. And this is really, tips and best practices for really any platform that we talked about earlier, right? They all kind of work hand in hand. One thing to keep in mind, and I always tell clients this, and I'm sure everyone already knows this, but I always like to remind our clients that when you respond, you're not only responding to the person that left the review, but you're responding to any other person in the future that may be researching your company and looking a little more into your brand. So they are public, and you want to make your message short. You don't need to write paragraphs of your response. And if possible, try to take the conversation offline. And we'll share some tips with you. So here's some tips for good reviews. Your customer just shared a positive review. Excellent. Sometimes this is the hardest thing to get because, again, people are more prone to leave a negative review than they are a positive review. Thank them for taking the time to respond to the review. Just don't make your response, we'll type that response too sales focused. They're already a happy customer. So here's some examples. Thank you. We hope to see you again soon. Maybe add in their name for that little personal touch. Thanks for sharing your experience. We're thrilled to hear you enjoyed your experience. But you want to make sure you are responding, and you're responding in a timely manner. This shows me as a consumer that someone is on your team actively monitoring their online reputation, right? They're taking the time to monitor this. They're taking the time to respond. Even to the positive ones, they're taking the time to respond to them. This tells me you have a team that cares about the product, that cares about the service, and most importantly, cares about the customer. So that's why it's important to respond to every review that comes in, and you want to do it in a timely manner because it will give you a little bit of a timestamp on there. So you don't want to have a positive review and then 6 months later, hey, thank you so much. It's like, where have you been, right? Have you not been monitoring your online reviews? So those are just some quick tips for managing good reviews. But most importantly, how do we manage negative reviews? They suck, right? No one wants to get a 1-star review. But depending on what business you're in, it's sometimes hard to avoid, right? We could do everything we can, but if someone's just having an off day, maybe one of your team members just didn't offer the experience that they were meant to offer, it could happen, right? So there's that chance that we could all get some negative reviews, but what do we want to do? First one, respond in a timely manner. Customers will appreciate a prompt response. Make sure, again, are you getting an email or push notification alert? Go into the depths of the settings for each one of those platforms just to make sure that you are set up to receive those push notifications so you don't have to go in and check all the time. You'll be alerted when someone leaves a review. Stay professional. I know a lot of times, even if it's a negative review that makes no sense or they're just terrible, it's hard to refrain from lashing out, but we don't want to lash out, right? Avoid taking the review personally. This is a business at the end of the day. This isn't a personal attack on you. So you want to be professional because other people are going to see this. Understand your customer's experience with your business before responding. So if someone mentions a problem with a product or service, investigate to see what's going on. Be honest about mistakes that were made and the steps that you've taken or will take to correct the situation, right? So people love seeing a plan. And people also, my background is in public relations. And the biggest thing is just being as transparent as possible and owning up to mistakes when they happen. And mistakes certainly happen. We're all human, right? So we want to own up to those mistakes and respond as quickly as possible. We want to apologize when appropriate, but don't take responsibility for things that weren't your fault, right? We don't want to just apologize left and right because it shows other people that are maybe looking at your business that, gosh, this business is apologizing a lot, right? Maybe they are the ones to be at fault. Offer to talk it over. If this is the first time you're hearing of the complaint, right? Invite the customer to email you or call you so you can sort the matter out with them. Take it offline. The review section is not the area, it's not a message board to correct a situation. You want to acknowledge the situation and provide a quick solution. Hey, if you could call me at our business number, I'd be happy to speak with you. And oftentimes, people won't pick up the phone, right? They're not going to reach out. But it's showing other people that you're willing to talk to them and correct the situation. And to me, your response in a way cancels out that negative review when you are showing that you're responsive, you're offering a solution, you're offering to talk about it, and now the ball's in their court. Of course, any user then reading reviews has no idea if that person ended up calling, but I can almost guarantee they probably won't call because someone was mad in the moment and they just took it out in the review section. And then show that you're authentic. Before I started my company, I managed online reviews and reputations for this other big local company in town, and I always signed off with my name, just my first name. You could also do your initials too, but it helps just personalize it and humanize it a bit. There's someone behind the scenes listening to you and wanting to take corrective measures to fix whatever that problem is. Okay. All right. So let's do some practicing. So let's look at some responses, and this is just a little mix of a variety of responses that I really liked, and I'll show you why I like these responses. This is specifically for negative reviews. Positive reviews, those are easy, right? You're just thanking the person. Thank you so much. We appreciate you as a customer. We hope to see you again soon. But negative reviews, there's so many different types of negative reviews that can come in. So here are some just quick examples. Thank you for the feedback, Hannah. I'm sorry to hear that you had to wait longer than expected for your table. Our goal is to always see customers as quickly as possible, and we are always working to make our process even more efficient. We hope to have the chance to serve you again. So looking at this review, obviously the negative review had something to do with maybe waiting too long for a table, right? What's great is, okay, Sam, we see Sam's the first name, owner. Sam acknowledged Anna. Thank you very much for the feedback. Apologize. I'm sorry to hear that you had to wait. And then what do you always strive for? Our goal is to always see customers as quickly as possible, looking to make our process more efficient. We didn't offer Anna a coupon or a discount or anything, but we just kind of left it open and we hope to have the chance to serve you again. In this case, I really like this review. It's more than just a quick sentence. You're showing that you're listening, you're apologizing, what your goal is. Again, the goal is to always see customers as quickly as possible. That's really for kind of everyone else reading this review. We're always working to make our process even more efficient. We hope to have the chance to serve you again. Good response. Okay, so this is every once in a while you might get a one-star review with no text. It's just one sad little star, okay? So this is a good way to respond to that. Hi, Abby, I see that you left a one-star rating, but no details about your experience with us. I would love to hear more about how we can serve you better. KL, so just the initials, lead stylist there. So in this case, For me, if I was reading this, I would, in a way, just ignore that 1-star review because the person didn't even take time to respond, yet the owner did. The owner is also a little confused. Hey, there's no details about the experience. We want to hear about it and how we can serve you better. And then there's a person behind that review. So if I was looking at this salon, and if I see this review, to me, the response cancels out that negative, just 1-star, no caption review. All right, let's go through another one. John, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I looked into it, and you are completely right. It took us 3 days to return your estimate, which is entirely too long and not in line with our promise of a 24-hour turnaround. This is not how we do business, and we would appreciate the chance to make it up to you. Please give me a call directly. Maria, manager. So this is great. This is someone who is complaining about it looks like an estimate. Maybe this was a roofing estimate or some sort of maybe home repair estimate. It took a little too long to get their way. And maybe the business was busy, right? There's a lot of unknown factors that we as a potential customer reading the reviews, we don't know. But looking at the response, again, we're calling the person out by name, John. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. And then again, one of the tips I mentioned earlier, investigate. Maria looked into this. And the person's right. It took us 3 days. This is not how we do business. We would appreciate the chance to make it up to you. To me, the only thing I would add is maybe a quick little apology. I'm sorry that it took us 3 days to return your estimate. Please give me a call directly. So Maria is leaving the line of communication open for John to call her to maybe work something out. Maybe at that point, Maria will offer him a discount. But there is now an opportunity for John to reach out. Again, sucks that a 1-star review came in, but to me, as someone looking around for maybe roofing or some sort of home repair, if I see this, it shows, oh, wow, okay, maybe this was a one-off thing. Maria did say, their promise is a 24-hour turnaround. She even acknowledged that was too long. Maybe that's a one-off issue. But if I wasn't to read her response, if I saw a 1-star review from John and maybe little details of how it took 3 days to get an estimate over, I may think, maybe is this business too busy to take me on as a customer? Are they not monitoring? Do they not care about the customer experience? So this is why it is important to respond. And just, I think, a couple more here. Thanks for stopping by to check out our store. We do offer discounts a few times a year, which might bring our prices closer to the range that you were looking for. Please join our mailing list if you like to be notified about our sales. Joe's a clerk. This review that was left, again, a 1-star review. And if we try to think about maybe what that review was, sounds like someone was a little upset maybe because the high prices. I mean, aren't we all? Everything's very expensive anymore. But even though the pricing is a little high, Joe is offering some solutions here. So we do offer discounts a few times a year. Again, maybe it's going to bring that price down to more in line with what you're thinking. But Joe even added a call to action. Shout out, Joe. Please join our mailing list if you'd like to be notified about our sales. So Jordan and I just had an email marketing webinar not too long ago, and just the importance of email marketing, that touch point where you can promote sales and different things going on at your business events, etc. Joe is correct. You do want to encourage people if possible. You don't want to really do this for the positive reviews because they're already happy with you. But in this case, this is a great example of someone not really happy about the pricing, but Joe explained to them, we do offer discounts. You can see those in our mailing list. Be sure to join that. So really good response from Joe there. Javier, I'm sorry to hear that you were frustrated by a 15-day return timeline. Unfortunately, we cannot change this policy, but we do try to make it clear with signs in store and on our website so that it won't be a surprise to our shoppers. We hope that you'll shop with us again, Sandra. So this is more of a pretty cut and dry response in a way. We do apologize that Javier was frustrated. However, 15-day return policy, that is a policy that the company has set, and policies do need to be enforced. So you're not making exceptions for one person, but not another person. So sounds like there are some signs in store. There's some notifications on our website. So maybe Javier just missed that. Sandra's just kind of politely reminding him, and really other people looking at these, that, hey, there may be some reminders and signage that talk about that 15-day return policy. Looks like this is a plant store here. Oh, yep, this is the last one. Oh no, we want your plants to thrive when they get home. I'd be happy to share some tips on watering and placement if you give me a call. And of course, we stand by our 30-day happy plant policy if you prefer to replace them. And then some initials there. So review for a plant store. Looks like the plants aren't doing very well after this person purchased them. But what's great is that from the response, as a consumer, potentially going to buy some plants from this business, I see that, hey, they're willing to share some watering tips and placement. They're willing to help. This person wants the other person that left a review to give them a call. And this business has a 30-day plant return policy. Perfect. I really don't have anything to worry about. Maybe this was just a one-off case. So hopefully that was helpful. You'll see that there's a variety of different ways to respond to negative reviews. Just make sure it's timely. Make sure that it shows that you have taken the time to look into the situation. It's not just a blanket response to everybody. And you're providing them with some solutions. You don't always have to provide them with solutions. If you look back to Sandra, there really is no solution here. It's more read the signs better when you come in, right? That's the solution. But for some of these other ones, again, depending on what your business is, they are offering assistance, even if it's just, hey, give me a call. Let's talk about it. I'm happy to help. All right. So this is a question I also get asked. How do I remove reviews? How do I just delete all the bad ones? You can't, unfortunately, but there are some ways that you can submit a claim to potentially get some reviews removed, and I will show you what to do. So this is specifically Google's policy. I did put on here, each platform has their own set of rules. So we do encourage you to check out those rules if there's a review that you just don't like. Below is a summary of Google's policy. Now, before I go into Google's policy, keep in mind, if someone had a bad experience at your place of business and they leave a valid review, a valid one-star review of like, I wasn't happy, the food wasn't good, the service wasn't good, it just wasn't what I was expecting. You simply can't then just say, I'm going to report that review because I don't agree with it, right? Unfortunately, Google or really the other platforms, they aren't going to do that. But I do want to share what are ways Google can remove a review. One, of course, if it violates Google policies, we'll talk about that here in a bit. Don't report a review just because you disagree with it or don't like it. Google does not get involved when businesses and customers disagree about facts, right? They are not the court. They aren't going to get in the middle of that. And there's no reliable way from Google to tell who's right about a particular customer experience. So they're not just going to stand by you because you're the business owner. At the same time, they're not going to stand by the customer as well. They're going to leave it as is. And that's why it's up to us, the marketers, the managers, and the owners to respond. And it's all about how we respond, okay? So if you do see a review, and again, I will go over the policies here in a bit. On the right-hand side of that review, you should see the three little vertical dots there. You're going to click those dots and click Report Review, and it will give you a little option menu of why you're reporting that review. But here are some policies that I pulled for you that fall in line with Google removing the review, okay? So it could be harassment, hate speech, personal information. So my other company, we worked in housing. And so every once in a while, we did get a review from someone who is so mad about a leasing agent or about a manager at our company that they called that person out by first and last name. That is a no-no. That is what's considered personal information. And then you could report that to Google and have that removed. Fake engagement, misinformation, misrepresentation. If there's a review that has nothing to do with the business, Google can take that out. So our new office is located in a really cool historic Orpheum Theater in downtown Champaign. And this theater was a children's museum. And after the pandemic, unfortunately, it did close, and now it is a private event space for performances, weddings, etc. And our office is upstairs. But the building, we were helping the building owner on a variety of different things, including the Google business listing. And we found that someone, after the building was sold, someone left a one-star review saying, this should have been a skate park. And that was it. It had nothing to do with the business. It was just someone's personal opinion that the inside should have been turned into a skate park and left a one-star review, which of course lowers the overall ranking on your Google listing. In this case, it's misinformation, misrepresentation of the business. It's kind of deceptive content. It could also be off topic, the last bullet there. So a little combination of a variety of these, and Google was able to just quickly remove that review. So even though this person, it wasn't harassment, didn't call anyone out by name, they left their personal opinion, but it was off topic, completely irrelevant to what the business was. That one was removed. Of course, violence, adult-themed content, dangerous content, child safety, off-topic, gibberish, repetitive content, etc. So it's a little hit or miss. But if you feel like, hey, you know what, this just doesn't feel right to me, I think for a lot of us, for a one-star review, probably don't agree with it, but it's just the nature of doing business. There's a chance that we're all going to get some less than 4 or 5-star reviews, which we want to avoid. But if we do, it's all about responding. And if you feel like it could fit within one of these categories, you can report that to Google. All right, we have about 20 minutes here. I can't believe time's already flying by, but we want to talk about increasing online reviews. So, and that's something that a lot of people, I think, should really focus on. More people, like I've said, are going to leave a negative than a positive. So what are ways to increase that positive? And when we increase positive reviews, your overall ranking score will go up. And this is what we've implemented for the other company I worked for a number of our clients, and it's working very well. Okay. Increasing online reviews. Get on the same sites as your customers. Simply put, your business needs to be in the same platforms as your customers. This makes your business successful and allows you to engage with the customers online. So really what we're saying is, if you find that, hey, a lot of my customers are using Nextdoor, make sure you have your Nextdoor, or maybe they're already talking about you on Nextdoor, make sure you do claim that listing. Simply ask. Start with people who are already using the service or product and ask about how their experience was. This could be done through the following: in-person conversation. So after every positive interaction, encourage customers to share their experience online. Train your employees to ask too. So a little tip, this is what we do at our company. We have, let me see if I have it here. Okay. And then Jordan, can you still see me on the screen?
Yeah, we can see you.
Okay, great. So one of the things that we do for this kind of simply ask section here is, after any big, large project that we complete, whether it's maybe a video project or a website project, we have handwritten thank you cards, and we'll thank the client for selecting us for this project, and sign off at the bottom, etc. But in the card, we also put a little business card inside. Business card size, we just have our logo on one side, and on the other side, we have some text and a QR code that says, "Love the results we achieved together. Share your success story on Google and help others discover the impact of our work." We did this for another client as well that offers like home repair services. So after that home repair service is done, they were already dropping off a survey to the person when they were leaving, and that person complete the survey and send it back. But in addition to that, what we call leave behind, they're also leaving little cards. And we found that, wow, people are already happy with the repair. Here you have a quick opportunity with that QR code to scan, and I can open up directly the Google review box. That's excellent, right? It's very easy to get to. After implementing that, this business was now getting 1 to 2 new reviews a week. And the reason why is that we're thinking of the touch point, and we're thinking about the window of time. So after that repair person left the home and dropping off these materials, the homeowner is very, very happy during that time because, gosh, this is fixed. It's great. You know what? I'm going to leave a review. But if you were to wait a few weeks and then circle back to that person, that sense of joy and excitement may not be there as much as what it was when the repair person was leaving their house right then and there. That makes sense. So you want to get in front of them at a really good time. Speaking of survey, do you offer a follow-up survey? Add a button to encourage users to share their experience online. That's exactly what I did for the other company I worked for. We found that our reviews were pretty poor because more negative than positive. So we found that after someone did sign a lease with us, they did their homework, they looked at other companies, they selected us, they were very happy with us. We sent them a little follow-up survey. It was like literally a 2 or 4 question survey about their experience to help us improve. But then within that, there was a button to share your experience online or leave a review. And we saw that people did opt to do that, and they shared that experience. And within months, we did increase our reviews by another, gosh, 30 or 40%, which was great. Point of sale or front desk signage. I think I do have in here, yeah, if not, I'll show you, but on my card, we have that QR code. You can get now a link directly from Google Business that will open up the review window. You can take that link and then generate a free QR code and put that QR code on so many different things. Business cards, signage by your front desk or point of sale system, marketing materials, and more. And that's exactly what we mentioned here, marketing materials. If you don't feel comfortable asking, take the opportunity to ask for a review in your email signature, on your receipts, or on a card that you mail with your product. Exact same thing that we're doing with our thank you card. Here's some phrases that you can consider with your requests. Please support us with reviews and photos on Google. Thanks for being a valued customer. We'd love to hear about your experience. Please leave us a review on Google. Reviews are really important to us. We'd love to hear about your experience. All right, good. I did include a screenshot. So thinking back to that screenshot earlier with the orange box around, you can go to the front end of Google. As long as you're verified on Google Business and you're an admin, you're going to see these options. And one of them you'll see is called Ask for Reviews. Google will now give you a direct link. So if I was to click that link, it will open up a new tab, and that review box comes in right away. When it comes to asking a customer to do something, a call to action prompt, right? Hey, learn more, visit this, get a quote, etc. The less clicks, the better. And so before, back in the day, before Google had this, we had to like hard code and like get this really long URL and just pray that it worked. Now, Google's really leaning into this and giving you the direct link. So you can get this link directly from your Google Business profile, and then we turn it into a QR code. And you could do that from any, just type in like free QR code generator, copy this URL into the generator, and it will generate a QR code for you. And that's what it looks like. So right when I click that link, it opens that tab, and then this box comes up where I can leave the star rating and then your experience. Okay, the other thing too, this was kind of cool. It has unfortunately changed over the years, but Marketing Kit with Google.com, if you do have a verified listing on Google, you can download some free digital assets. Some of these are branded little like testimonials. So they'll take reviews from your business listing and turn them into little graphics that you can share online. In the past, they would actually send you some physical materials like a poster featuring some reviews, a window cling or table tents. They may bring that back in, but you do have the ability to at least download some digital assets of actual reviews that are on your Google Business Profile listing. And these are just some example ones that we were able to order back in the day, but you can still get some digital assets as well. So this is for Bacon and Van Buskirk here in Champaign. John did a great and quick job fixing a broken glass panel, a 5-star review, and then you have the little Google logo. You can change the cool little abstract painting in the back if you want to do something that's a little more on brand. Of course, you don't have to use these. You can maybe pull out, use the same concept, maybe pull out a little review that you find on Google, plug that into Canva or something and create your own branded graphic. But Google does have some graphics available to you online. All right, so we have about 10 minutes left. That does bring us to the end of today's webinar of how to respond to online reviews. I hope it was helpful. I know online reviews that on the surface, it's pretty easy, right? You have a place to leave a review, but what are ways to respond? It's all about being timely, being thorough, investigate the situation that's going on, and then make sure that you're just being very kind in your response and offering some solutions. All the things that we talked about for increasing online reviews, these are proven winners, basically. We've implemented this for ourselves. We've implemented this for our clients. really think about the customer journey, the different touch points that you have with your customer. When would be a good time to be asked for a review, whether that's directly or indirectly with maybe some signage around your business. You don't, of course, want to blast someone of like, please leave us a review. But individually asking someone of like, hey, John, I loved working with you. You know, as a small business, reviews online are really important. If you have the chance to leave a review, we'd greatly appreciate it, et cetera. And you'll see that people are willing to take the time if they're asked to. So excellent. Well, I'll hand it over to Jordan to see if we have any questions, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. We don't have any submitted right now, but there are a couple that we've touched on in the past in other sessions, and that just come to mind that I'm going to throw out there and see, they might spark some conversation here and just see your thoughts
Sure,
on it.
please.
The first one is obviously Google's a huge resource for everyone, but people leave reviews on Facebook, Yelp, things like that. All these guidelines you've provided applicable to those platforms as well, I'm assuming?
They're a good question. They're all the same. They're all the same. So it's that timeliness, how to respond. The only thing that's not the same is just the policies. So if you do see something wrong with a negative review and it just doesn't feel right, and you're like, maybe there's a chance that we can get this removed, look into their policies because that's the only differentiator. But in terms of best practices for responding to reviews anywhere, whether that's Nextdoor, Yelp, OpenTable, Google, Facebook, it's all very similar in terms of the best practice.
Okay. And then another one that we've talked about, more kind of like on email marketing, but incentives for reviews, is that a thing? With like rewards programs maybe or anything?
Excellent question. So you want to be very careful with how you word that, right? You don't want to say, hey, leave us a 5-star review and we'll give you blank. You could get in trouble for that. So one of the things that we did back in the day was if you did want to incentivize someone, you could, so our survey that we sent out, we did that like 2 to 4 question survey, and then we had that button to leave a review. You could, I think what we did at the time was for your time leaving a review. So we're not asking for a specific star rating, but hey, if you want to share your experience and for your time, we will enter your name in for a drawing. To me, there's nothing wrong with that because you're just thanking them for taking the time to leave a review. It could be negative, and if someone leaves a negative review, we're still putting them in the drawing. That's just to make it fair, right? And then I think it would maybe once a month we pulled the name from people that did leave a review. You do want to be careful with the incentive. In that case, what we did was just thank them for taking the time, and then there's that small chance that they could receive something for the time that they took.
All right. And then the last one that comes to mind for me that may be, helpful for some of our attendees today. Once a review's out there, obviously it's public knowledge. Is that okay to take then and use as like almost a marketing part and put it on your website, and an image or something like that?
Yes, you can. A lot of these like Yelp and Google, they are kind of public facing platforms. The only thing that I would, that we typically recommend clients doing is that if there's a review that you really like and you know the person, you could also just reach out and say, hey, we're going to be using this into this big campaign. Is that okay with you? But really, you don't need to ask because again, it is those public facing platforms. So what we would do would say, hey, check out this review from Jordan, and then not even mention the last name. It's the 5-star review from Google. So that is common. We have seen people that have third-party integrations on their website that then displays some of the latest, most recent reviews, and it will just maybe show the first name of that person just to help a little bit with some privacy. But yeah, there's no major restriction. The only thing I could think of is like if you sending out a private survey asking for feedback, right? And that feedback is some sort of rating scale. And then you want to share feedback from a private survey they were sent out just to your customers. That's where you would want to get permission because they are sending in their thoughts and their rating and their name through this private channel, not publicly displaying anything on Google, because anyone can see that.
Awesome, thank you. We don't have any other questions submitted. I do know we had a couple of people come on after we had officially kicked off the beginning of our session. So I do want to reiterate, you will get the recording of today's session along with that link that Scott shared in the beginning of the presentation to download a PDF version of his presentation. So if you want to go back and review that information, share it with someone on your team or anything like that, you will have access to do that. So thank you everyone for joining us today. And thank you so much, Scott, for presenting. We hope to see you all in another one of our sessions.
Yeah, thank you. Hope to see you at some of our next ones. I think the next one we have is marketing on a shoestring budget. And then we do have another course coming up is social media one-on-one. So that's going to be a good one as well. So thank you very much for joining, and we hope to see you at one of our next ones. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.